Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. I got some good ones today. I got a judge that's new to us. He's not a new judge, so I didn't say new judge, new to us judge. He saves a life, I think, maybe, or extends the life a couple months anyway. Got somewhere guy sent right to jail, and it came out of nowhere to me. I wasn't expecting it, but that's what happens. Underwood, poor Underwood. People don't like her. I think she tries. I think she's just really busy. And we got a Karen, a male Karen, and unfortunately, I'll just tell you now, we do not have the meltdown. There's no body cam or anything that shows us the meltdown, but we have the sentence. And the judge does us dirty in this sentence. I'm telling you, this judge does us dirty. You'll see. But let's start with the new to us judge in Indiana.
All right, we'll now start the 2 o'clocks. And do we have Mr. Stevens? Oh, I got to add him. Hang on a minute. All right. All right, 24 CF 18, State of Wisconsin versus Isaiah M. Stevens.
The state appears by Nick Passy.
Mr. Stevens.
Sorry, Your Honor, this is...
Go ahead.
Ms. West.
Ms. West, you're cut out. We can't hear you.
I know. Sorry, Your Honor. Sometimes it gets glitchy. My apologies. I was going to say that Mr. Stevens does qualify for representation, but he requires outside counsel. So however he wishes to address the court today, I cannot help him.
Okay, thank you. This matter is on for a bond hearing, and the bond hearing specifically, Judge Levine had asked our court to address that. So I don't see that anything has been filed, but let me take a look here because Mr. Stevens, you were up this morning. So let me review the court minutes. Okay, Mr. Stevens, go ahead.
Yes.
This is your bond hearing, I believe.
Yeah, well, sorry, I'm kind of confused. I just got in here.
I'm sorry. First of all, Mr. Stevens, you are very quiet. We're going to need the volume turned up. We can barely hear you.
Okay.
This matter is on the calendar today to deal with bond.
Right. Can you hear me?
Are you asking to have your bond revisited, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you. Make your argument, please.
I would like my $1,000 cash bond to be reinstated, or my $2,000 cash bond to be lowered to like a feasible amount of like 500 or lower. But I want to do better. I haven't been doing better. I've done wrong these past couple times, and I want to get sober. A couple days in here, I've really thought a lot, and I've been a disappointment to not just myself, but everyone in my life so far, and I don't want that to go on longer. And I have a couple of things that I do need to take care of. Like my mother paid the $1,000 cash bond last time, and it was part of her rent money. And since I was homeless, my car just got towed by Don's, so it's at about like $400 something. So I'm just trying to get out and receive me and my mother's belongings from the car before it's too late, and we will have to sign over the title anyway. But I have a couple of things to take, I need to take care of.
Mr. Stevens, when you were in front of Judge Levine on January 5th, which is basically just literally a week ago, JSS was to prepare a release plan. Did you meet with folks from JSS to talk about a release plan?
I had called today, and they told me that Kate, my worker, is not in until Tuesday. But I talked to them, and I was like, I can represent my own plan at least as much as I can do for now. I know that JSS was supposed to propose my release plan, but she's not able to meet with me until Tuesday, which is unfortunate.
Mr. Passy?
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Stevens got out on the 5th. He was given a $1,000 cash bond and was able to push that. Got out on the 5th, and then this week he picked up another drug possession case. That's his 4th drug possession felony case this year. We have concerns about his safety and well-being, certainly. We also have something of a concern about the community. He has a history of property crimes back in 2021, I believe. I think 3 or 4 cases that resolved. But we thought that some amount of cash was appropriate. Judge Levine agreed with us. He posted that, and then I think this is addiction, but within a week he was back again. And 3 of these cases have involved the same young woman, and they'd been ordered to stay apart from each other and weren't able to do that either. She was also a part of this most recent case.
So do I need to establish a new bond today?
No, a $2,500 cash bond was set in that new case. We haven't moved to revoke the bond or forfeit the bond that was posted. Perhaps at some point, if the court were to consider lowering the bond, I would encourage the court to not do that until after he has a bit more time to air out and develop a safety plan, a plan for release with justice supports. Perhaps that 1,000 that's already been posted could be part of whatever bond that the court considers, but we would oppose lowering the bond at this point. I think the drugs involved have been cocaine, methamphetamine, and there was a narcotic drug. I don't know if that would have been heroin or fentanyl right off the top of my head, but I think if he's feeling better now, I think he'll feel a lot better with a bit more time to get his head right.
Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
As I sit here and listen to you and I listen to all this going on, it's almost exhausting for me to hear it. And I can't even imagine what it's like for you. I mean, you are entitled to the presumption of innocence, but if even half of what is being said here in court today is true, you are in a life of chaos. And you're asking that I grant you release on a signature bond? I think we both know exactly how that's going to end. And that's going to end with you using the minute you walk out of this facility today. You've demonstrated that you have not been able to get a hold of your demons and control them. I agree with Mr. Passy. You are experiencing, well, maybe a revelation. You've had a few days of sobriety and maybe the fog is being lifted and it's showing you that you are in a world of chaos. And I think you need to experience that world for a little bit more within the confines of the jail. I just think you are too much of a risk to yourself. You're too much a risk to the community. I'll authorize you to meet with JSS regarding a release plan, but I am hearing nothing that convinces me that you would that you would be anything other than a risk to yourself and a risk to the community if I let you out. And I want to say one last thing. I hope you really remember what this feels like for you, because you need treatment and you should try and get that treatment. But right now, I can't let you out, not in good conscience. I think the community would be at risk. And more so, I'm very concerned that you're going to end up dead. So a lot of this is for your own protection. I'm not going to modify the bond at this point. All right, let's go back to the top of the 2 p.m. calendar. I'm sorry, we still have somebody in.
Look at that judge saving this boy's life. Look at him go. What a nice judge. He's not allowed to contact that girl anymore. And he's going to be in jail for a bit longer. Will it be enough to turn him around? I don't know. I don't know. You know, he says the right words, that he feels bad about what he's done to his mom and everything. We'll see. We'll see what happens, hopefully. I wish he would have said treatment, like something in jail, treatment, but he didn't. He just said jail. So that's where he stays. This one surprised me. Let's go to, I think, Yolanda.
For the state?
Pat Montgomery for Zachary Medina.
Good morning, Mr. Zachary. How are you doing? Well, Mr. Medina, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you for asking. Are you the same Zachary Medina is charged with a DWI and it is now an MTR? Is that you, sir?
Yes.
Raise your right hand. Let me swear you in. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
To lower your hand. Okay. Mr. Medina, well, are you a U.S. citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Have you had an opportunity to talk about this MTR with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
And counselor, are you satisfied your client is competent enough to move forward in this MTR?
He is, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, Mr. Medina, I must inform you that the state of Texas has filed an MTR against you, a motion to revoke your probation. And under the laws of the state of Texas, you can be charged up to a $2,000 fine and spend up to 180 days in a Bexar County jail. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You still wish to move forward?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. State which violation are we moving forward on?
Your Honor, the state would proceed on violated condition number 5, which reads, in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Zachary L. Medina, did then and there fail to report to the supervision officer as directed for the months of September, October, November, December 2020, January, February of 2021, in violation of condition number 5.
All right. Mr. Medina, how do you plead to that?
Guilty.
True or not true?
Not true.
True? All right. Well, does it state you guys have an agreement?
We do not, Your Honor. We're asking for the court to satisfy the judgment with the time that has been served. He's got several weeks in.
That ain't gonna be happening. Does he have 180 days in?
No, ma'am. The underlying sentence is 180 days, and I'd argue that there's mitigation that should be reduced.
Nope. He's either gonna get 180 days, or you guys can go back and discuss this more, and he could get his probation extended if that's applicable, Charles.
No, ma'am.
Don't believe it's possible to extend the probation, Your Honor.
All right. So that's
So,
he had
Judge,
180 days to do.
will the court hear argument before the court assesses sentence?
Yes, but you I'll let you go ahead and argue your point, Pat. Go ahead, Pat.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Medina took his plea at the beginning of COVID. At the time, he was a barber by occupation and trade. And I've just been ordered out of this courtroom, Your Honor, because they're bringing in a jury. So give me a moment. I'll walk right out right now.
Okay.
This lawyer tries very hard.
Judge Torres Stahl was very nice in allowing me to multitask, but they brought the jury in, so I had to go.
Okay.
Mr. Zachary Taylor was a barber by trade. He took his plea at the beginning of COVID, and the barber business dried up to nothing. The first 4 or 5 months, he had a PAM device. Of course, that cost him money, and he was in compliance with that until the economic times hit. Also, he's paid about $400 toward his probationary obligations. What's most impressive to me, Your Honor, is over the course of the last year, he's developed a new trade. He's in lead abatement. He's the guy who wears the respirator and goes into homes and businesses that have old style lead paint and sands all that stuff off. He's still got that employment waiting for him. He'd like to return to that employment. Your Honor, I know you hear it all the time that somebody gets scared because they have a motion to revoke, but that's really what led to his non-compliance. Finally, Judge, he turned himself in on this warrant. This isn't a case where the court had to actually wait until he was found. He sees that he's finally on the right path. He sees that he's got a new career, and he's tired of living with this warrant. If it was possible to extend his probation, that's what we'd be asking you. But I don't believe that's possible. I believe that from his initial arrest, from his car being impounded, from his partial compliance with probation, and full compliance in many areas, and his new direction in life, I think the court could have some justification for modifying the underlying 180-day sentence.
Nate?
Your Honor, while the state is sympathetic to that partial compliance isn't full compliance, he expired in 2021 and he failed to comply with his PAM device and complete his classes or community service hours. Although he did pay partial fine, at this time, the state would ask that you grant the motion to revoke and sentence him the underlying term.
Extremely brief alternative, Your Honor. You could release him on a bond and reschedule this hearing. And maybe if we could get those classes taken, then you would consider that.
How would that be done? He's in jail. Isn't he in jail?
He is in jail. You would have to release him on bond and reschedule. I don't know that the court would want to do that. I'm just throwing every alternative out I could think of.
Good advocating, Pat. Pat, I mean, looking at your client's record, I don't even think he would be a good person, a good candidate to be extended. He has no less than 5 FTAs. Like this, and this is a 2019 case. He was not a good candidate for probation. I'm looking at everything right now. Like I'm giving him exactly what he plea bargained for. He promised the court that if he got probation, 12 months, and the alternative is that he would be in jail for 180 days. And he had to do the conditions. He didn't do like any of the conditions really. And he was just not a good candidate for probation, Pat. He really did not fulfill his duty and his part of the contractual that he made with probation in the ADA's office, the state of Texas, that he got a DWI, he plea bargained for 180 days, 12 months underlying probation. So that's going to be the order of the court. I'll give him credit for time served, 180 days in the Bexar County Jail, credit for time served. And I will say a $0 fine, court costs, 180 days in the Bexar County Jail, money credit for time served, money time for a concurrent. The judgment is not satisfied.
Yes, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You may be excused. Okay.
175th.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Sorry, couldn't do better for you, Mr. Medina. Good luck.
All right. So we still have Robles.
So 1 second. So what are we doing with Mr. Medina? Are we resetting him?
No, he's not going to reset it. I sentenced him. He got
Okay.
a $0 fine, court costs, 180
Okay, got
days,
it.
Bexar County Jail.
Got it.
The lawyer did so well. He just did. He convinced me. The judge is not having it. Not at all. And he looks so sweet and innocent. standing there, I thought he was going to get off. That came from left field. I was not expecting that. Okay. All right. I just want to be best friends with this next lady for like 2 minutes, but then I won't be able to stand it any longer.
Is this? Go ahead, Adam. Okay, this is yes, sir.
What's your name, ma'am?
Linda Senchaway.
Ms. Senchaway, you didn't want to speak with us yesterday.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Did somebody give you the wrong message?
Yeah, that you refused to interview yesterday, ma'am.
No, that wasn't me. No, I wanted to interview yesterday. Yes, the officer Balderrama said she was going to come here at 8:30 yesterday morning and take me out of the Social Security office, but she didn't show up. And then I don't know what happened. Somebody must have given you wrong or misleading information.
All right, Ms. Senchaway, good morning. This is Judge Nunez. How are you today?
I'm surviving, barely. I'm hungry.
You're hungry?
Yes.
They haven't fed you?
Well, not, I honestly, I was on the way. I was over by McDonald's the other night.
Okay, now I need you to answer my question.
Because I'm hungry.
Have you had anything to eat today?
Barely.
Okay. All right, ma'am, where do you live?
I resided at 214 West River Avenue for 7 years, and then somebody broke it and entered. So I was put in an awkward situation last January, and I've been looking for other places, but somebody keeps going around me and pickpocketing me. And then I qualify for housing, and then somebody kind of snooped into that business. So I'm thinking about moving out of this area. So I'm in a transition, sir.
Okay, are you receiving any Social Security money from it?
Yes. Yes, I am.
And where do you receive that money?
I usually receive it. Well, it goes on my Direct Express card now. But now I have gone over to Social Security and requested that my money go there because somebody kind of got into my mailbox, been snooping in my mailbox.
What family members do you have in El Paso?
Well, none that I'm aware of except my son, Ryan, who could be here, and a friend of mine from Mexico by the name of Oscar Galindo. Jesus Oscar Galindo, a friend, 44. And we were common law together in Seattle before we came here. And then somebody took our cell phones and disassociated us. And that person could be from New York, like family members from New York or a friend or somebody from New York State.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Tell me the address where you're going to reside if I release you from jail.
Where I'm going to reside. Well, I would like to go to the Budget Inn Motel for a week or two or a month just to get because I have belongings.
Ms. Senchaway, just answer the question he's asking, okay? Nothing else.
I'm sure, Mr. Ballesteros, I'm getting a feel for what's going on.
I'm moving.
I
appreciate that.
I think I get the feel as well.
And it's out of my hands. Except
Officer, hold on, Ms. Senchaway. Officer, can you write down the Public Defender's Office?
Yes.
915-546-8185.
That's the number I'm trying to call. Yes.
Okay.
Number
And give that to Ms. Senchaway.
So that's what
I'm going to appoint the Public Defender's Office, Mr. Ballesteros, to represent her.
Understood.
Senchaway, you're going to be released today on a personal recognizance bond. I am ordering you not to commit any other crimes.
Well,
I am ordering you to stay in contact with the PR Bond office. I am ordering you to stay in contact with the Public Defender's Office, and you're going to call them first thing Tuesday morning.
Yes, sir.
In addition to that, you must stay at least 200 yards away from the McDonald's that is located at 2401 North Mesa in El Paso, Texas. Do you understand, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the same location where she was trespassed twice, Mr. Chevrier?
I'm showing it was a McDonald's off of Mesa, Judge. What was the address the court just gave?
2401 North Mesa.
I was tempted. May I say something? I was tempted. Somebody gave me a gift certificate.
Give me a second, Ms. Senchaway. Give me a second.
have something to eat.
Just a moment, Judge. Let me pull up the app again.
It's 2 counts of criminal trespass, right?
Yes, on 2 different dates. Just
Same location?
2401 North Mesa,
I
McDonald's.
don't think it's my fault.
Okay. Ms. Perla, do you want to ask some questions?
If I may, Judge. Mr. Wade, do you have a phone number?
Ma'am, all 5 of my cell phones have been stolen.
Okay.
Compromising me and my friends and my contacts. And, you know, and that happened in 213 as well when I moved here to El Paso.
Okay, so the answer is no.
No.
All right. Any other questions, Ms.
I just
Perla?
wanted to give you a little
No,
explanation.
Judge, that'd be it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
Judge, what will be the level of supervision?
Administrative.
Yes, sir.
Officer Segoviano, can you make sure that she gets something to eat, please?
Yes, sir.
We was about to feed her right now.
All right.
I took her over here first.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you give me the number of the magistrate's name? The magistrate's name here. No, the magistrate's name. John Magistrate.
Ruben Nunez.
Oh, Ruben Nunez.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Please follow the officer.
Nunez. Thank you. Okay, I want to know. Just a moment. Thank you. I'm not in any hurry. Sometimes pressure.
Yeah, you're not in a hurry, Ms. Sensue, but we still have other bond hearings.
I believe you. I understand. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to lose even a little piece of paper.
Good morning. Are you
Johan, are you talking about now or earlier? Earlier was a new judge to us in Indiana. He's not on YouTube, so I got him off on the internet, not on YouTube. This judge, I'm going to call him David Nunez because that's what I really thought his name was forever, David Nunez. But it's not. What did he say his name was? Rodolfo Nunez? I don't remember. Anyway, it's David Nunez from now on. And I love him because he handled her great. She would have went on and on and on forever, and he stopped her. But at the very end, he's like, feed her. So he didn't just think of her as some crazy lady who's wasting the court's time, He remembered that she was hungry, and he's like, yo, go feed her right now. So that's what I loved about him. I thought he handled her great. Okay. Raven, that's not the first time someone has said that I sound like someone else. It's crazy. I have to watch her stream. What is Meg's stream's name? Do you know? I want to watch it. I want to see if she sounds like me. So this next one, it's just funny. I mean, it's just funny. You'll see.
There were 2 on the jail list for me today.
Yeah, they left one on that got moved.
Okay, got it. All right, let's see. Good morning, Mr. Cousins. All right, I have somebody with the screen name of my shit, so I'm gonna let them in, and well, let's see who they are. Are either of you here on Mackenzie?
No, I heard she wasn't going.
He wasn't.
I think Tuskie's got him now.
Okay. So I have somebody who zoomed in with the screen name of my shit. Could you unmute and start your video so I can verify for sure if that's your real name? Can you unmute your device, please? And then I'll change your screen name. No. All right, so Mr. Cousins and Mr. Millar, I don't know who it is. They're not responding. Let's see who this says. Go into settings. All right, okay, I'm gonna change your screen name. I got it. All right. Let me do that for you. All right, there you go. I got it. No, I'm not going to change it to formally known as my shit. I got it. All right, Mr. Reliford, go ahead and unmute your device. Mr. Malaro, I have Mr. Reliford. All right. Okay, so I'm wondering, all right, can you unmute your device? And then Mr. Reliford, if you unmute your device, I'll give you a chance to speak to Mr. Malaro if you need it. Oh, your cousins. Okay. All right. So Mr. Cousins, you're here on that one.
Yes,
all
ma'am.
right. So I've asked him to unmute his device. I don't know if he's having a hard time with that. He's not in trouble. So it's not the worst thing anybody's ever showed up with a screen name of.
We remember the other guy.
Oh, he's logged in again. So I think he was having connection issues. So let me change his screen name again. All right. Mr. Reliford, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, excellent. So this is in the matter of people of the state of Michigan versus Jerry Lee Reliford III, file number 21-20509FH. I have, Ms. Adams, did I give you back Mr. Reliford's paperwork?
I will check.
I don't have a PSI, and let me go look. I might have, did you get one, Mr. Cousins?
I did, and I got an amended one, Your Honor, because.
Yep. Let me go check my desk. I might have left his, oh, she's got it. All right, thank you, Miss Adams. Okay, all right, so I do, yes, I have the original, and then I have a PSI update. So you received both of those, Mr. Cousins?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and then I have Kevin Cousins, P85044, appearing on behalf of Mr. Reliford. Do you need a chance to speak to Mr. Reliford, Mr. Cousins?
No, Your Honor. We've talked both at the just prior to the last setting, and thank you, Your Honor, for continuing it. My brother did pass that night before, and
I know, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. And the thing that are you ready to hear from me?
Nope, no. I was just asking if you need a chance to review it with them. And Mr. Reliford, are you able to start video for me?
Not on this phone.
Okay. Mr. Cousins, I recognize his voice. Do you have any objection? Okay.
No, Your Honor. I recognize his voice also.
Okay. So Mr. Reliford, have you had an opportunity to read and review the pre-sentence report with your attorney?
Yes, we spoke about it.
Okay. All right. And then, Mr. Cousins, I would just add that I understand the request from the probation department and why they've done that. But I also understand that if I change the agreement that was entered into, he would have a right to withdraw his plea. So I'm not going to sentence him to 60 days in jail. Okay. Okay. So Mr. Reliford, and you've had ample time to discuss the pre-sentence report and recommendation with your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. Are you satisfied with Mr. Cousins as your attorney and the advice that he has given you?
Yes.
All right. Does Mr. Cousins, do you wish to explain or challenge the accuracy or relevancy of any information in the pre-sentence report or the update?
No, Your Honor. The update reflects some of the concern that we had brought of the original, and that one of the things was actually dismissed. One of the subsequent previous charges no objections, Your Honor.
Okay, good. Does the pre-sentence report disclose any prior convictions in which there exists any known constitutional defect?
No, Your Honor.
The probation department has computed the minimum sentencing guidelines to be 7 to 23 months. Do you agree with that computation and guidelines?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Before the court passes sentence, is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Reliford?
Well, Your Honor, you've already stated you're not going to change the thing and sentence him to 60 days. We're grateful for that. Mr. Reliford does take care of several of his children at home, and he does have something pending, but he believes that it's going to be resolved pretty quickly in his favor. But other than that, we would request that that Your Honor sends him to the 1 year of probation.
And even less if you like.
Did you message Mr. Cousins?
Sorry, what?
I'm
Yes.
sorry, Mr. Reliford, what did you say? I believe Mr. Reliford sent you a message on the chat function, Mr. Cousins.
Oh, I had sent it to. I didn't know it for whoever to see because I couldn't get my.
I did not get it, so I assume you just sent it to him. It's okay.
Oh yeah, it was just telling y'all it was me and that I was going to the sentence.
Okay.
And Mr.
All right.
Reliford just made a comment that if you want to sentence him to less than a year of probation, that would be fine with him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure.
No
Okay.
big deal. No big deal.
Okay. All right. Mr. Reliford, is there anything you want to say on your own behalf?
Well, yeah and no. I'll just ready to get it over with one way or the other.
Okay. All right. Okay. In determining the appropriate sentence in this case, the court has considered the seriousness of the offense, your history, the principle of proportionality, the statutory penalty, the cost of confinement, the sentencing guidelines, the report and recommendation of the probation department, as well as what has been said upon the record at this hearing. The criteria and reasons for the sentence are the nature and gravity of the offense, the discipline appropriate to its commission, deterrence against repetition by you and by others, the potential for reformation, vindication for law, and the protection of society. There was a plea agreement and the court will honor that. So it's sent to the court that you would be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. You will get credit for 1 day in jail, time served.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I did 5 days in jail for that warrant.
Okay, that's fine. I'll give you 5 days in jail with credit for time served. Let's see, during the term of probation, you must obey and comply with all provisions in the articles of your probation. I'm not going to do an alcohol clause. I am going to order that you cannot use any illegal controlled substances. So you understand illegal means anything that you don't have a legal right to use. You understand that? So I don't know if you smoke marijuana, but it doesn't include marijuana because our state believes it should be legal. So no illegal controlled substances.
Okay.
Not going to order community service. Let's see here. Not all right. During that term of probation, if there's any reason for the probation officer to order any treatment or counseling, you must comply with that. Do you live or are related to anybody with a felony?
I don't not live with, but I'm pretty sure I'm related to somebody with a felony.
Right, but you don't
Same.
live with anybody with one, right?
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay.
You okay, baby?
Okay. Oh no, hold on, I'm looking. During that term of probation, and because you have a felony record, you cannot have a weapon in your possession. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you must not use any object as a weapon. You can't be with somebody who has a weapon. You must submit to search and seizure of your person and property if they have reasonable cause to believe that you have items which violate the conditions of your probation. There is a $60 DNA fee, $68 in state costs, $130 crime victim rights fee.
Crime victim who?
It's state law. We have to assess that fee on all felonies. It doesn't mean you had a victim. It's the Crime Victim Rights Act, and it requires that every felony conviction have that fee. Okay. There is a supervision fee in the amount of $30 per month and $60 per month if you have to wear a tether. And there are $750 in court costs. So you will have a year to pay that off. I will tell you that if you pay it off, I think after halfway through the term of probation, if they've complied with everything, they can be released. Is that correct?
Up to my boss.
Yeah. So potentially if you pay it all off, you can be released from probation after 6 months.
Judge, he was never arrested on our bench warrant, so I don't know about those 5 days. I think that was something else. Because he walked into court.
It's fine. It's fine. It doesn't. It's 5 days. Let's see. All right. So, Mr. Reliford, you do have, and let me see here. Let me see something. Hold on. Looking. All right. Are you still living in Ypsilanti?
Yes.
Okay. And then there's no transfer fee within the state. Is that correct, Ms. Holly?
No, but he does have to report to me Tuesday.
Okay. So, Mr. Reliford, I understand you live in Washtenaw County, and we will transfer your probation to Washtenaw County. But you have to come here next Tuesday morning to meet with Miss Holly to do that paperwork. Do you understand?
Yes, what time?
Between 8 and 10.
Between 8 and 10 a.m.
Okay. That's
And then
Tuesday.
Miss Holly will get the paperwork. You can sign your probation terms, and she will transfer it to Washtenaw County. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
And if you don't show up, though, I issue a bench warrant. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you do have the right to appeal this sentence, and we're going to mail to you 3 copies of your notice of right to appellate review. On the first page, it'll be flagged for you to initial and date. Initial and date that copy, fold it up, and in your envelope will be a self-addressed envelope for you to send it back to me. Fold it up right away, sign it, put it in the envelope, pop it back in the mailbox, and send it back to me, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
That copy that I received just acknowledges that you received your appellate paperwork. If you wish to appeal your sentence, you would fill out the information on the other 2 forms and mail it to the address listed on the form within 42 days, all right?
Okay.
And then I'm not going to ask for your house number, but you live on Chevrolet Street?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that's the address we'll use to mail it. All right, Mr. Reliford, I wish you the best of luck. And Mr. Cousins, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a great morning.
You have a good day. Thank you. All right.
So that's what happened to Mr. Shits. She just rolled with it. I like her. She's laid back. So I like the judges that are like super stern and the judges that are really laid back. Let's go to the Karen. Let's go to the male Karen. Now, again, we don't have the freak out. We don't have the Karen freak out in the Apple store, unfortunately. We just have his sentencing. And this judge, you'll see how he does us dirty, because this guy is about to talk many times, and he stops him but it's still good. The only thing is this judge is long-winded, but you know that's just the way Judge Allen is.
Thank you, Your Honor. Stephen Durance on behalf of the defendant, Mr. Michael Haskins. By accommodation of the court, both myself and my client are attending through the Zoom format. Thank you.
All right, this is the day and time set for sentencing. I've had an opportunity to review this matter and to prepare for sentencing. I thought that there was an assessment for this matter. Let me just double check. Did you receive a risk assessment on this file, Mr. Durance?
I did, Your Honor. Thank you.
Do you believe the report to be factually accurate?
It is, Your Honor. We find it to be factually accurate and correct.
Mr. Haskins, do you believe the report to be factually accurate?
Yes.
Mr. Durance, if you'd like to allocute on behalf of your client.
If I could, Your Honor, I believe the information within the risk assessment is correct. This was frankly, I'm sorry.
That was the court officer speaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. As far as the recommendation from the probation department as to the fines and costs, we are full in agreement with that. We would ask the court to do that. This does go back, the initial plea agreement back in October of 2023 did provide that Mr. Haskins was eligible for a 6-month delay under MCL 771.1. So we would simply be asking the court to enter a sentence at this time for the fines and costs recommended by the probation department. Together, there are some statutory terms that are indicated on the proposed sentencing report. We'd ask the court to adopt those as well, and then also make this contingent upon Mr. Haskins' successful completion of the probationary term, or the 6-month term, I should say, that this matter would be in fact dismissed at that time. Thank you.
Well, it would be a probationary term because that's the way that we supervise people to know that they're in compliance with the terms under 771.1.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Haskins, sir, do you understand what's going on?
Yes.
To the best of your ability, using your own language, what do you think is happening?
I believe in 6 months' time, if I don't get into any kind of mischief, this will be dismissed.
It's pretty close. But what we were just talking about with your attorney is that it's not just going to be you being left to your own devices for 6 months. Probation for 6 months. As a matter of fact, that period of probation could actually be extended up to 24 months. But the anticipation is that you won't be up to any mischief for the 6 months, and that the case would end up having to be dismissed because you're in compliance with all the terms and conditions of your supervision. That's very vitally important that you understand that, because I think that part of the reason that you're here today is that you weren't really being mindful of your role in society. You know, going up to the Apple store and getting into a big fracas with people over a battery is not something that most people would do. Especially not to the point that they would get a criminal charge.
You don't know me.
I need you to make sure that you understand that these are not just sort of suggestions or recommendations. You're being court ordered to do things. And if you don't do them, there are going to be repercussions that are going to follow. But it's vitally important you understand exactly what it is that you signed up for. Am I making myself clear?
Yes. Can it be explained to me then?
Yes, please.
I believe in people understanding what's happening. So I don't mind taking a moment or two to do that. But so this is your opportunity to speak on your own behalf.
Excuse me? I didn't understand.
This is your opportunity to speak on your own behalf. You got people talking about you, but you have an opportunity to talk about yourself.
I I don't know what to say, Your Honor, so.
So what do you think should be happening at this point? Why do you think all of this is going on? What is your commitment to the future?
It's really, I hate to speak to get myself into trouble because people take me the wrong way. But I went to the Apple store, I bought a battery in a short period of time. The battery was not working correctly. I called Apple.
Let me stop you. Let me stop you because
No, Judge, no.
what you just said is very, very interesting to me. That you're hesitant to speak because when you speak, people take you the wrong way and they take something, I'm assuming, negative.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah. I'm just speaking from my heart, the way I feel or what happened.
So let me say something to you because I think that this is important. If you are sort of the type of person whose personality is reflected through your conversations with people, seems to be somebody that's outside of the norm of how people speak with and engage with each other, then that is something that might need to be explored in terms of cognitive behavior therapy or dialectical behavior therapy, which are attempts to help people actually sort of stop and think before they act.
Or we can tase him.
It's been proven that if people actually are giving themselves, maybe you actually heard of this as well, where people will say, well, before you send that responding email, you wait 24 hours before you fire off this email to your colleagues. Or if you are someplace where someone unnerves you and they make you angry and you count to 10 before you actually do something about what has angered you. It's really that sort of construct where if you realize within yourself that you have this sort of proclivity or this habit that seems to be that people misunderstand what it is that you're about, then that's something to actually be addressed as part of this process, because I think that that's kind of part and parcel how you ended up in the situation. Is that there was a reaction to you and your involvement in the store that caused people to call the police. Most people can go in and out of an Apple store without having the police called on them.
I agree. The circumstances just slightly different. Like I said, my battery was going bad. I talked to the.
Exactly, because it's really not about the battery. It's not even about the Apple store. It's really about what you said to me just a moment ago.
I understand.
That you hesitate to speak to people because of the problem that you've experienced in the past, where people take you away. That's really what I'm concerned about. It's not so much this little sort of granular problem with the Apple store or the battery or whatever the conversations were. It's really about, okay, so what are we looking at from 30,000 feet that needs to be addressed?
Okay, understood.
Okay, that's really what I'm talking about. Mr. Durant, I don't know if you agree with that, but I give you an opportunity to speak on that before I go further with Mr. Haskins.
No, I understand what the court is saying, and we would ask the court to continue with the sentencing. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Durant. So let's not focus on that, Mr. Haskins. Let's just focus on what I consider to be rehabilitation. Because at the end of the day, probation is not really about probation. Probation is about rehabilitation. And when I'm talking about rehabilitation, what I'm really talking about is changing how you think. Because if you change how you think, your actions will follow. I gave you those two examples of how you would wait before you do something in response to something that you thought was happening to you. This is an opportunity to kind of reformulate how your thought process works as you're interacting with people. So with that being said, I'd like to give you the floor again so that you can make your commentary about what I just said.
I couldn't hear the last part. It's not very loud volume here.
So I was saying that I want to give you the floor so that you can have an opportunity to have whatever commentary that you would like to have about what it is that I've just said to you.
I understand.
Okay. Then I don't know that we necessarily need to have you say anything further. What we'll do is I'll just pronounce what the terms and conditions of the probationary period are, and then we will go from there to get you started with our folks, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so the period of probation is 6 months. The fine is $500. There's $125 state assessment. There's $575 in court costs, which I find to be reasonable based upon what it costs the court to handle cases like yours. And so what we do is we add up that total cost for all of our defendants, and then we divide it by the number of defendants, and that's how we come up with what is your pro rata share of $575. There's $100 for the risk assessment. That's the report that we've been reading from. It costs $100 to prepare that report. And then there's $210 in oversight fees. And oversight fees are what it costs to be on probation supervision. It's $35 a month. For 6 months, it's $210. So the grand total is $1,510. Are you in a position to pay that today, or do you need some time?
No, I'm not in a position to pay it today, but I will pay it within a short week or so.
Well, I give you 30 days to pay this. Is that enough time for you?
That'd be more than adequate.
Okay, so paid in full by, today is the 11th of January, so by the 11th of February. Okay. You'll be with probation on a monthly basis or as directed. You're not going to be eligible for early discharge of this probationary period because the deal that you have with the prosecutor says that you have to be on for 6 months. So we couldn't cut that in half to 3 months because, quite frankly, that's not the agreement that you have with the prosecutor. Okay?
Thank you.
You're not to possess, carry, use, or purchase a firearm, ammunition, or other dangerous weapon. Do you own any weapons, Mr. Haskins?
I have a hunting gun.
So within 7 days, you have to give it to a family member or a friend that doesn't live with you. And of course, once you're done with us and you finish off your 6 months, you can get it back. But within 7 days, it has to be out of your possession, okay?
Okay.
You're not to violate any criminal law of any unit of government, not leave the state without the prior consent of the court. You're to make a truthful and accurate report to the probation officer at each contact. You're to notify probation within 24 hours of any change of address or employment, and within 24 hours of any contact with the police. And police contact is defined as being official police contact. It is not situations where the police say, hi, how you doing? Or this is a great place to get a hamburger, or they're directing traffic or something. It is situations like where the police either arrest you or detain you and question you. For example, and this is probably a very good example, let's say that you're a passenger in a car and the car gets pulled over for speeding. Doesn't have anything to do with you, but you're in the car and the officer asks you for identification to check to make sure you don't have warrants. He checks you out, you don't have warrants, and you're allowed to go on your business. You have still had official contact with the police. And if you fail to report that by the next business day, that is a violation of the probation. Understood?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You're to provide proof of healthcare coverage when you with the healthcare navigator as directed by probation. This next provision that I'm about to read to you is the one that seems to cause people the most trouble. Not to use, possess, consume, or be in the presence of alcoholic beverages or controlled substances, nor be present at any place where alcohol is sold for consumption on the premises. You're not to use any products that contain alcohol or some other substance that would change your state of alertness. It will cause you to test positive for a banned substance like eating poppy seeds on a bagel. So what I've just done is to outline to you places that you can't be because they're contrary to your rehabilitation. So people who use alcohol are much more likely to engage in behaviors that are antisocial. So you're prohibited from being able to be around those types of people or to use alcohol yourself, because that reduces your inhibitions to do things that you might not otherwise do. So I hope that the picture is starting to emerge for you as to how this works. Because like I said before, this is the one for which most people seem to get locked up for. So not only are you prohibited from being in a bar, understand that you can't be in a bar even if you don't have the intentions of having a drink, because I said you cannot be on premises where alcohol is available for consumption. So you might legitimately say to yourself, I have no intentions of having a drink, and I'm just going to go to the bar to play cornhole. I'm going to go shoot pool or play darts or whatever. Maybe you want to go and watch sports on the big screen TV. Maybe it's the Super Bowl or something. You can't be there. Let's say that your favorite place to get a pizza is Art's Bar, and you know that you're on probation, so you can't be in a bar. You can't even go in the bar to pick up a pizza to take home with you, because walking in that door of that establishment is a violation of probation. It is not tied to you drinking. It's not even tied to you sitting down in the restaurant. Just being there is a violation of probation. Same thing would apply to going to a place like a bowling alley, or going to a restaurant like Red Lobsters or Applebee's or Chili's, or going to a friend's house for a cookout, or going to a concert, or going to a sports stadium, or even going to a movie theater, because now movie theaters serve alcohol. So if you wanted to be at a wedding reception or at a movie or whatever, you'd have to have permission from the probation officer in advance to be there. If you don't have permission, that is a violation of probation and a jailable offense. And the same thing would apply to being around people that are using controlled substances. And marijuana is a controlled substance, and even though the law in the state of Michigan has changed and people over the age of 21 can now possess and use marijuana, that is not a rehabilitative environment to be hanging around people that are blowing smoke on you and potentially giving you, a buzz that way, or even if they didn't smoke and they had edibles. That is not a rehabilitative environment to be sitting around with people that are getting high or eating whatever they're eating. Understood?
Yes.
So not only can you not be around people that can legally use controlled substances, you can't be around people that are illegally using controlled substances. You can't use any substance that contains alcohol or some other substance that would change your state of alertness. I'm going to give you a bunch of examples, but they are not the entire universe of examples. So for example, non-alcoholic beer actually does have alcohol in it. So you need to be reading labels. I've actually seen some instances where some forms of toothpaste have alcohol in them. That there's alcohol in things like cold medications like NyQuil. There's alcohol in things like mouthwash, like Listerine. There is alcohol in things like Mike's Lemonade, which is why they call it hard lemonade. These Twisted Teas and seltzer waters and even energy drinks like For Local have alcohol in them. Understood?
Yes.
And this would even extend to household products. There are some people that will actually drink household products because they can alter your mental state. So for example, people have been known to drink things like hand sanitizer and rubbing alcohol. People actually have been known to drink stuff like sternal and health things like lube and gasoline and duster because it will alter your mental state. And as I was saying to you earlier about your friends and edibles, that would apply to you as well. You couldn't say, well, Judge, I was at my friend's house and I had this brownie and I didn't realize that it had THC in it. And that's why I tested positive for THC. That would still be a violation because, as I said, you're supposed to know what you're putting into your body. So brownies, cookies, gummies, granola bars, suckers, dabs, wax, vapes, K2 salvia spice, 221 Cloud 9, potpourri, or whatever they're calling it, it does not matter. You need to know what it is that you're putting into your body, because what you put into your body can and will cost you your freedom. Understood?
Yes.
We all understand now.
Prescription and non-prescription drugs and provide verification of all prescriptions to testing agencies within 48 hours, actually to your probation officer within 48 hours of obtaining the prescription. If to attend counseling as recommended, and that's cognitive behavior therapy, is cognitive thinking that we were talking about before. You're to not abuse, you're to drive for probation, law enforcement, testing agents, case manager, physician, or counselor. You submit to a search of your person, your home, your car, upon the request of either law enforcement or probation officers to ensure you're in full compliance with our probation return. If you get placed on electronic monitoring now, not placing you on electronic monitoring, but if you get placed on electronic monitoring, it does have GPS capability to tell us where you've been geographically as well as whether you're in compliance with your curfew. You will have an 11 o'clock p.m. curfew. In addition, 3 days community service by the end of probation, which is 24 hours. 11 o'clock p.m. curfew, as I said before, you to maintain an appointment as a condition of probation. You to keep all medical appointments, follow medical advice, take all medications as prescribed, and sign the release. You to submit to fingerprint if necessary at the direction of the probation officer. You are now on probation with me as of this moment. Mr. Haskins, understood?
Yes.
Mr. Haskins, if you decide to appeal my decision, you can do so, but you'd have to do so within 21 days. And if you require the services of an attorney to help you with the appeal, and you can afford to hire your own attorney, then you need to let the court know within 14 days so we can refer your case to the Office of the Public Defender, and they can evaluate you for eligibility for appellate services. Mr. Haskins, do you have any questions or concerns, sir?
No.
And Mr. Durant, do you have any questions or concerns?
Do not have any questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Stocking, do you think we can give them a date for 6 months from today so that we'll have that included in our information? As a practical matter, Mr. Durant, it usually does not come back in front of me. Usually the probation officer will just send me an order for discharge for me to sign.
Very good.
But it'll be good for you to have that date in mind just in case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
July 11th at 9:30.
July 11th at 9:30.
Very good.
Okay. Gentlemen, you're free to hang up at this point. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, we got one more. We're going to go to Underwood. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was last month, I had a stream where one of the inmates had huge problems with Underwood. And now we got another one. But this is a different judge this time, and this judge helps her out.
On the record and the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mario Armour. So, Mr. Armour, you had said you wanted to address a few things with me on the record. So you may proceed.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you know, me and Miss Underwood haven't discussed anything about this matter in months. I requested certain things from her, a copy of the Forensic Center's evaluation for criminal responsibility. I was not provided that. I asked for a register of actions so I can know where we at, because I don't even know where we at in this case, Your Honor. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know your name. I don't know nothing that's going on with this case. I don't believe she's working in my best interest.
All right. So, so once again, as I said before, there were some errors, not Miss Underwood's fault, with regard to writs to bring you in. And sometimes we have some difficulty getting in and out of MDOC to meet with clients. And so when clients are here from MDOC, I always afford an opportunity for Miss Underwood to meet with them. Now, with regard to the forensic examination, Miss Underwood, I know the law has changed. Are you able to provide him a copy of it?
Your Honor, if we can provide him a copy, we will. I will send him. I told him I would send it if I could. I will send him immediately a copy of his register of action. I did get his letter, and we are going to do that. I also am going to discuss with him a independent forensic as to criminal responsibility, Your Honor. But as the court said, communication, at least verbal communication with inmates is a bit problematic at the moment. But
And Mr.
I believe Mr. Armour and I can take care of this, Your Honor.
And Mr. Armour, it's something I've seen since the pandemic, where before we used to be able to go visit inmates when I was a defense attorney, and then we have to Zoom with them, and sometimes they're available, sometimes they're not. And so I apologize for that. So Ms. Underwood, so Mr. Armour, that being said, you're assigned a public defender. I have no say on who that public defender is. So your option, you can proceed with Ms. Underwood, or you can retain an attorney. Ms. Underwood does a good job, but like I said, sometimes there's some restraints getting in and out of MBOC, more so than the local jail. So I can set this for another pretrial, Ms. Underwood, and Ms. Underwood will.
I think that's what I discussed with Mr. Armour in our breakout, Your Honor. And if the court, about 6 weeks, Your Honor.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll take us to Valentine's Day, February 14th. All right, so I'll set this for another pretrial on February 14th at 8:30 in the morning. Ms. Underwood, if you do have some issues getting in and meeting with them on Zoom, if you let the court know, we can have a writ done and bring them in, and you can meet with them while I'm doing other hearings.
Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Armour, your bond's continued. We'll see you back here on February 14th at 8:30 in the morning. Ms. Underwood's gonna mail that stuff out to today or this week, and she'll try to meet with you before that, okay? But if she's not able to, I will give her time to meet with you that day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Armour.
Thanks. And Ms. Underwood, you'll do the step in order to adjourn.
I will, with Ms. Mears' permission.
Okay, good. All right.
Poor Miss Underwood. Poor Miss Underwood. Everybody yells at her. She's in a thankless job. She tries. Although that other attorney earlier, that the guy got 180 days for, he tries much harder than Miss Underwood does. He was great. So, if anybody can find that, the Apple Store fiasco on the internet anywhere, you should send that here so that we can post it, because I haven't found it and I don't know how to find it. But it would be great to know. It is nice to know that if you're going to be a Karen in public and you're going to cause issues at a store, that you're going to have to pay over $1,000 for that, which I'm sure he can just pay and move on with his life, which sucks, because it should hurt a little bit when you put retail workers, in a situation like that. It's just hard being a retail worker. It's just hard. And nobody makes it easier. Nobody. Speaking of retail, I'm not retail, I'm a server. I'm going to go into work now and serve people who are going to be mean to me anyway. But that's okay. It's all good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. I will see